Whenever Cold War Zombies gets an update, it can literally make or break the current meta, with many nerfs and buffs and everything in between being introduced to the game with many updates, especially the seasonal ones. It's safe to say that the meta for Call of Duty Zombies is always shifting right now. And today's video is going to be a very shining example as to how this reigns true. And I really do think that if there is anything that has been the most affected by the update from Treyarch, it absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, has to be ammo mods. An example of this is that 1 minute there is an absolute king ammo mod such as Deadwire just sat on the throne, overlooking all of the other peasant ammo mods, until Treyarch release a seasonal update and Deadwire gets nerfed so many times and it just crashes and burns. And if you are to look back on my ranking every ammo mods video that I did a while ago, the stuff I say in that and where the rankings lie, it has aged like milk. It's not good at all. But this isn't really my fault, I just had an opinion and I was also kind of going off of what was the meta at the time. But I think it just really goes to show how drastically different weapons, but in particular ammo mods here, can really be in Cold War. And so this brings us to now. With the Season 3 update, it has just shifted the meta so incredibly dramatically that I just need to make a video on this. Oh, and I'm also going to make a more updated ammo mods tier list, so stay tuned for that. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to come out and say it now, okay? This feels so strange. I have been ripping on this ammo mod for so long. Since Cold War came out, I have just been going non-stop, making little digs at it in every video, and essentially just been dunking on it. And although it is mostly as an ongoing joke, this ammo mod was always the black sheep. And I'm going to say now that I was wrong about cryofreeze. Okay, there, I said it. I am wrong about cryofreeze, or at least I was. You see, what I actually did was, in my ranking every ammo mod video, cryofreeze was at the bottom and Deadwire was at the top. And now Deadwire is the worst ammo mod right now because of how harshly it was hit with the nerfs. And cryofreeze is one of the best ones now. And now that cryofreeze has finally been raised up to the pedestal, I really just want to give a bit of insight as to how good it actually is now and why it is the most effective with the HAUER. And listen, I know it's the HAUER 77, so anything will be effective with it, but it just feels like with the way cryofreeze is right now, it just complements the HAUER so well. What it really comes down to with cryofreeze is its cooldown rate as well as what the actual ability does, especially at tier 5. So cryofreeze is a ammo mod that slows zombies down and will do a little bit of damage to them, and this does vary on what level it is. But I want to focus on tier 5 here, and this states that on a slowed enemy kill, the enemy shatters, spreading the slow effect to 5 nearby normal enemies, and this has a 30-second cooldown. So that's just an amazing thing that cryofreeze does. And assuming that you used your Ethereum crystals to upgrade cryofreeze to level 5, and by the way, if you need a fast way of farming Ethereum crystals, I did do a guide of it on my channel. So if we're going under the assumption that you do have tier 5, then cryofreeze can affect any zombie you shoot, and even mini bosses such as the Megaton or the Mangler, those types of enemies. And once it's affected, the enemy will be slowed down by 50%, and this will last for 5 seconds. When the ammo mod is going into a cooldown, it will only last for 1 second, and if you have elemental pop upgraded to tier 2, this will only be 0.8 seconds. And so as you can imagine, with the fire rate of the HAUER, with it being a pump action shotgun, this is going to be able to basically be activated on nearly every single shot. And no, this won't just shred through zombies, like it's not that type of ammo mod. What I feel like cryofreeze is right now is more of a utility ammo mod as opposed to a damage ammo mod. Although that being said, I just want to state that once once a zombie is frozen and that damage is being done to them, that gives you time to also keep shooting them, and then you can just rack up the DPS. And this would be really useful for the bosses especially. But my point still stands, cryofreeze on its own won't just go tearing up hordes like it's a Wonderwaff. Or Deadwire in Black Ops 3. God, that was so OP. But if cryofreeze is utilized right, this can also really help for high rounding. Due to zombies being able to be slowed, it gives you a lot more time to react and think. And like I said, the DPS you can rack up is pretty good. And with the HAUER 77's already godlike damage, I think it's safe to say that this is really strong in the meta right now. With the rapid cooldown with the HAUER especially, cryofreeze also proves useful in Outbreak, because when those super sprinters start really piling on top of you, it is very important to slow them down and buy yourself time. And whilst yes, this is very useful in normal round-based zombies, it feels just as important in Outbreak too, such as the holdout objectives and places where you would be a bit more confined in a smaller area. And so once again, I can't stress it enough, it really puts forward how useful a utility ammo mod can be compared to one that is more of a damage-based ammo mod. What's that? You only think that cryofreeze could be useful in those tight areas, such as the holdout objectives? Funnily enough, it is just as useful out in the open as well, especially on Outbreak. With that really short cooldown time on the HAUER, and remember, if you have elemental pop here, that's going to be 0.8 seconds. You won't have to worry about having to break your flow when you're running around the map and zombies are just coming at you one by one, because you can just shoot them and slow them down and just dodge and weave past them. And you have to remember here that momentum is really important in Cold War zombies, because there is a lot of super sprinters and they can just completely ruin your day. So being able to just shut them down with cryofreeze and maybe even focus fire on them, this can also be applied with bosses here as well, is going to make a real change in your match, I feel. And you'll be able to evade bosses and inconvenient super sprinters much easier, as well as just get rid of them. I mean, think about it. You could turn around and use cryofreeze and slow a boss or a super sprinter that is giving you a lot of trouble, and even if they break away from your train, it's still more time to focus fire on them. And you can essentially, with the short cooldown, keep them in one place, whilst the HAUER is just dealing out some punishment to whatever zombie it is that you have frozen. It's also worth mentioning that cryofreeze as a whole does a extra 150% damage to hellhounds and panzers, which, as you can imagine, that's very useful. But in conclusion, cryofreeze has gone from 0 to hero in just one update, although I feel as though it is only this good with the HAUER 77, so just keep that in mind. So if you were to use cryofreeze with another gun, it would be okay, but just nowhere near being able to maximize its potential like you would with the HAUER. And so yes, I'll even say it again, I was wrong about cryofreeze. Under the right circumstances, such as what gun you equip it on, I think it can be great. And I think they definitely will just nerf cryofreeze. If they did it to Deadwire, they definitely will with this. But then again, how can I be so sure? So everyone, strike while the iron is hot. So I think it's time for me to stop sleeping on cryofreeze and truly embrace it for what it is. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this video here today. If you enjoyed this or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button. Comment your thoughts on cryofreeze down below. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? I'm really curious to know. And only a very small percentage of people are even subscribed to the channel, so if you've made it this far or you just enjoy Call of Duty Zombies content in general, then subscribe to the channel for much more content like this. Turn on the notification bell too to stay notified whenever I upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.